Mr. Happy Living here, and I'm happy to be broadcasting from WITV7 in the beautiful Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, USA. Hey friends, please take a minute with me and just imagine how great you'd feel living the unique and distinct life you were put on this planet to live, doing work you love, with people you love, in places you love, and all the while creating something of real value to others. That's what I call a life of significance. And I can tell you it makes for a very happy life. And so can Dave Goodell. He's my guest star today, and he's here to share his unique and distinct journey to his life of significance. Hey, Dave, welcome to the show.
Great to be on.
Awesome. Take just a minute, if you will, and tell us what you're doing these days to make your mark of significance on the world.
One beer at a time. Since I own a brewery, always wanted to have my own brewery and make beers that people really remark on and just enjoy so much. Been to a ton of breweries, really wasn't satisfied with the way I see the craft beer world running. So I decided, I'm going to give it my shot to make it better, make beers people really want instead of the trends that you see typically in a lot of the breweries today. So doing what you love, that's really, what more could you ask for?
Yeah. So tell us the name. It's a very unusual name of your brewing company.
Debellation Brewing Company. The name loosely translated means to conquer, subdue. It essentially means what one army or faction does to another one to where they can't fight back anymore. That's what Vikings did to everybody they met, pretty much, until they went away later on. But that's just my, I guess you could say it was a subtle way of kind of putting my military experience into that without being obvious, because there's already a military brewery here nearby, and I didn't want to mess with what they got going on here. So there was nobody using this word anywhere on any product, any trademark, any copyright. So I also felt that was another good plus for me to use this word.
Very good. It is. I'd never heard the word, so I looked it up, and I found it very interesting too. Give the audience, if you can, just give us a minute and try to describe the unique and cool space that you've created down there in Debellation Brewing.
Yeah, so being that we're a Viking themed brewery, which is fun, it's kind of a hot thing right now because people are watching this Viking series and things like that. But we have a lot of wood in here, a lot of rustic feel going back to the old Viking days. So there's wood throughout, carved items. There's murals on the wall, and over time, this whole facility will be transformed into what you might call a Viking hall. So when you walk in, it's like stepping back in time into one of the Viking halls where they all used to meet and drink beer and meet together and celebrate victories. So that's kind of what you'll see when you come in.
Yeah, very good. It was very cool. I enjoyed it the night I spent there, and I'll be back. So Dave, let's have a little fun with mathematics and let our friends all around the World Wide Web get to know you through our happy formula. It's a simple equation, but it's really powerful. Capacity plus purpose equals happy. So let's start with capacity. And tell us, what are your practices for building your personal capacity, whether it's physical, mental, spiritual, financial, emotional? In other words, Dave, what do you do on a regular basis to create all the capacity you need to take really good care of yourself and your loved ones and still have plenty left over to be a giver to others?
First and foremost, I always believe in the mantra, happy wife, happy life. So as long as she's happy, then, everything else should fall in line for the most part. Yes, I do spend a lot of time at the brewery, probably more than I really should, but I don't have much of a choice right now since I'm the one doing most of the brewery operations. But you got to keep a sanity to it, and when I see the people come into the brewery smiling when they drink my beer and really positively giving great feedback, it really just boosts my ego up to a point that I know I'm doing something right and people are enjoying it. So it just motivates me to keep doing more of the same. And eventually there'll be a payoff at the end, hopefully of some sort, where I can really take a solid retirement.
Very good. Well, let's explore one of my favorite capacity building concepts called a Kaizen state of mind. And I think this will resonate with you, especially as a master brewer. This is a Japanese idea that small incremental improvements add up over time to yield great big results. And I love it, Dave, because it's based on mindset, not circumstance, something I can control. Kaizening life is knowing there's always something I can do better tomorrow than today. So it's very optimistic, and it creates this gentle, powerful, continuous uplifting of my life day after day after day. So tell us, Dave, how does Kaizening your life help you increase your personal capacity to continuously become more so you can continuously give more?
Well, we like to give more directly to charities anyway. So when I owned a restaurant before, we used to do once a month a charity function for some local charity or veterans group. We continue doing that once we built the brewery as well, and we call it Grains for Good. So monthly we put together some kind of local function to help those in need nearby, United Way or some local chapter for veterans and things like that. Those little things really, I like giving back because it makes me feel good that I'm doing good for others, and they in turn can, better their lives. As far as the little things, that's just one piece of it. I mentioned earlier, a beer at a time, because as I make these beers, I'm building my brand and building my reputation up. And if your beers aren't good, no one wants to come back. So I have to put a lot of thought into each and every beer I make, so that eventually we'll get to a point where we're recognized even on a wider scale. But you got to get there in baby steps. So
how does this concept of Kaizen apply to the art of beer making as well? As you learn something, you can apply it to the other things. So what's that learning process like as you're brewing beers?
Yeah, brewing is always a continually learning experience because I can make great beer, but there's always something new to learn, different styles of beer that you can make and ways to affect it through yeast and propagation and other types of flavorings and things. But there are many things I haven't learned yet that I will be learning as I do continue my education through brewing. I'm not a brewmaster. I'm what they call master brewer. But there's always room to learn, just like I had in the military, always looking for that next rung on the ladder. If you want to get there, you got to know what to do to get to that point. And I want to become a even better brewer than I am now.
So what's the difference between a brewmaster and a master brewer?
Brewmasters typically are pedigreed. They usually go to school for it. They have a lot of responsibility for operating typically bigger breweries. A master brewer is just someone who is in charge of the brewing operations of a facility. It could be as small as a nano brewery up to a much bigger brewery. But I'm not going to call myself a brewmaster because I'm no master of brewing, that's for sure. But I'm a master brewer.
Very good, very good. All right, let's move on to purpose, that second element of the happy formula. And Dave, I've observed that major life transformations and discovery of purpose often comes from devastation, addiction, abuse, disease, death. Some awful thing strips a life to its core, and it creates this great big change in a person. However, in my book, Turning Inspiration into Action, I share a transformational process that I've used to discover my purpose through inspiration. So how about you, Dave? Was there a specific moment or event or crisis or inspiration that revealed to you the purpose you were meant to live?
I think a lot of it has to do with the military. My whole family, for the most part, was in one branch or another. And none of them that I can recall ever had college. So I wanted to be the first to go to college. I wanted to be, better than had better opportunities than what my other family members had. And I have a lot of kids. I love kids, and I want to make sure that they have a good life, and then I can provide for them, opportunities that they can then better their lives. So I try to be the best dad I can. I know that growing up it was hard, having being the latchkey kid and divorced parents. So those types of things really led me to be very motivating to do things on my own. So going in the military was a good thing for me. It lent me a lot of professionalism and attitudes that I can do things on my own. And I think that my raising my kids with that same attitude will hopefully make them succeed in life, whereas some of my other family members did not.
So when somebody says they have a lot of kids, that prompts the question of how many is a lot, Dave?
I have 6 kids, six children.
Kids.
Most of them are grown already. I have 2 left. One of them is graduating high school next year, and my youngest one, she will be 14, and then she has high school coming in the next 4 years, and then I'll be an empty nester at that point. So
chase your wife around the house more often.
yeah. So me and my wife, we want to be able to explore the world a little bit rather than just be at work every day. And once the kids are out of the house, we can do that and buy an RV and travel like you do.
Very good. So I'm not much of a war historian. I'm a big fan of our military, and thank you for your service. It's a long service. It looks like you were in from the Gulf War through Afghanistan, Iraq, Libya, Uganda, Iraq 2, and Syria. Where did you serve?
So Desert Storm was my first conflict, you could say.
You did go.
1990s when I went in. I got out in 95, went back in 01, and 3 weeks later, 9/11 happened. So my unit got put on alert, and away I went to OIF-1, and I came back from that. I got out for a short bit to finish my college degree and went back in 06. As soon as I got back in, I went straight to Afghanistan, and then I went to OCS to become an officer at that point, had finished my degree. And so at that point, then I got sent to Iraq one more time. So I spent 3 times in Iraq, once in Afghanistan, many places, done many things over my term of my military career. And all of it has been, for the most part, rewarding.
Very good. And so I looked at it's a great resume. There's a 4-year period that's 1994 to 1999. What was going on in your life then?
That was a time of my life when I was a civilian. My wife at that point, that I wasn't no longer married to now, she convinced me to get out of the Army. She didn't really want that lifestyle. So I did. And we went to Atlanta and moved there for a little while. I got into construction, and it really wasn't for me to be in the military or to be a civilian. So I really wanted to go back in the military. So I kind of set my sights on that. She was not about it. So it did cause a big rift with us.
So that was a big turning point. That was a big turning point. That was a return to the life that was right for you.
Yeah, I really missed being in the military, I think. So I decided to go back in, and she was not liking that at all. We did have a lot of arguments about it, but I felt like that was my calling.
Yeah, well, I'm glad it was your calling and you found it. And then what was the catalyst to, once you got out, you had the entrepreneurial flair, and you got into brewing and restaurant running, and what was the catalyst that caused that approach to life instead of becoming an employee like so many do?
Yeah, well, as I mentioned earlier, I was enlisted in the military, and I went over to the officer side, so you get more of a leadership role, a little bit more professional training involved. When I got out, I don't want to work for someone else other than maybe in the IT sector, and which I kind of prepared to do once I retired, which my retirement was in 2016. I was kind of lined up to do the IT thing, but a friend of mine had an Irish pub he was selling, and I thought, well, here's my chance to own my own Irish pub. And I really loved Irish pubs. I kind of cut my teeth on them a long time ago, and I loved them. So I bought it from him, and we expanded it fourfold. It became a juggernaut of a thing. And during this whole time, I'm brewing beer on the backside as a side thing, getting really good at it. And I figured at some point in my life, I would like to have a brewery, or at least a brew pub, where I can incorporate the restaurant in that. Ultimately, me and my wife decided to make just a brewery, because there's too many things going on in a restaurant with 40 employees and lots of moving parts. And it's so much easier just to brew beer. And so we decided to sell the pub and just make beer.
Yeah.
That's what we do now.
And folks, I want you to pay attention. Did you see when Dave, he lit up when he started talking about Irish pub and brewing and all that type of stuff? Sounds like you love the military, but it looks like this is your calling, Dave.
Yeah, you can only do the military so long in your life, before it starts to either break you down or you might get that unlucky bullet. You never know. So I was just gonna get out while the getting was good and start doing things in my life I really wanted to do that I never got to do after I'd spent most of my adult life in the military. So it's time for to get a little creative.
Very good. Okay, Dave, let's take a break so our sponsor can spread a little love to our listeners. Mr. Happy Living here. I love good things made by good people. That's why I love Dry Farm wines. They've transformed my drinking experience with sugar-free, lower alcohol, lab-tested natural wine. It's only grown on small family farms with respect for nature and using regenerative agriculture. You can literally taste the difference. It's naturally delicious. And it's super important because the quality of the food we eat and the wine we drink makes up the quality of our life. Go to happyliving.com, select Partners in Happy, and get your first bottle of natural wine for 1 penny. Share the gift of natural wine and pour some love this holiday season. And we're back. And this is the Something Significant Show. And I'm your happy host, Matt Gersper. And my special guest star today is Dave Goodell. He's the CEO and master brewer of the Debellation Brewing Company. And he's constantly striving, or you could say kaizening, to discover new styles and flavors of beer using locally sourced ingredients whenever possible to create a most delicious beer that people love and enjoy drinking. And Dave, I love this article I found on lifescience.com. It's called The Science Behind the Power of Giving. And it says that the act of giving itself can be a gateway to discovering your reason for being on the planet. It tells how science supports the notion that giving one's time and talents and treasures is a powerful pathway for discovering purpose and transcending difficulties and finding fulfillment and meaning in life. So I updated our formula. Capacity plus purpose plus giving equals really happy. What do you think, Dave? Have you found that giving your time and your talents and your treasures has been a pathway for discovering your purpose and transcending difficulties that you've faced and for bringing real meaning into your life?
Absolutely. I mentioned earlier we did the Grains for Good events every month to give to various charities and organizations around the area. And that really makes me feel good helping these people out. Just last night on Facebook, I'm watching some of the comments about the food truck we got. And there was a kid there that was trying to raise another $255 for his trip to Europe. And he's in high school, plays football, a 3.93 GPA. He's in ROTC.
Oh, gosh.
And all of this is a junior, and he inspired me to go ahead and finish out the rest of his money. So I went ahead and took care of that to our company, gave him the rest of it so he can go on this journey to England. It's a literature journey. So he's enhancing and trying to seek more, education. I'm all about it. He had great things he said about why, his high school, where he was at and what he was doing. So I felt like I wanted to make that happen for him.
That's awesome. There's so much good in the world if you're looking around for it. Would you give us 30 seconds or a minute or so? I think I watched a video on you as I was doing my show prep on this. I don't remember the term. It's when it was a long hike. What do you call it? It's a military term for the hike. I had to look it up. Yes. Yeah. So explain that. There's a charity that you work with, I think, on a regular basis.
Yes.
Explain what that is to the audience.
We call it Team Savannah for Veterans. We've been doing this since about 2014. Essentially, what we do is we just raise awareness of PTSD and other veteran issues with the community by doing many things. Rucking is one of them, where we would put a bunch of weight in our packs. We're used to this in the military. And we start at one point to the other, and along the way, we're just sharing the message of veteran issues with people that we come across. We do this a lot. In addition to helping veterans paint their homes or fix their houses, get them, whatever help they might need. So I really feel strongly about the veteran cause as well, obviously, because I've served in the military.
Yeah, and it was a great video and very, very uplifting. And when you can just tell the love when you're giving to others, it's good for them, but it also lifts you, right?
Yeah, it really does.
Fills you. Yeah, and that's what the article talks about. That's the science. And I couldn't agree more that it's just this feeling that comes from our fourth element of significance, doing work that creates value for others. And I've learned over and over again, because I'm a slow learner, that the magic of life comes not from getting more, but from giving more. But Dave, there's more to it than that. What I've been learning, exploring, is it's when you're giving from living in your purpose. That's where you find the magic. So tell us, how does it feel to be happily living your life and giving to others through the work you were put on this planet to do, and the people around you have taken notice? So Dave, I want you just to sit back for a moment, open your heart, and have a listen to the impact you're making on others by living and giving from the life you are meant to live. First guy says, Dave is a fantastic individual. He cares about his fellow brothers and sisters in arms. He's the kind of person that participates in community events and actively does what he can to assist the community. Unabashed candor, always honest, always welcoming, charitable, an organizer, a fundraiser. He supports veterans and first responders and nonprofits too. A great asset to the community. A hell of a representative to what is good. When Dave owned the restaurant, all we had to do was ask, and he'd let the veterans we were supporting eat for free. As a business owner, he creatively connects his passion of beer and food with the community. His staff is friendly and welcoming. I don't usually like beer, this lady said, but I gave it a try. Enjoyed the Blue Raspberry Blonde. DBC, the brewing company, is worthwhile just for the beer, but there's a lot more. Friendly folks, convenient entertainment, easy parking, security. Dave's belief in what America stands for and what America can do and what America will do is really refreshing. We, the Alley Pirates, look forward to many more years of working with him and showing our gratitude towards him. In the end, Dave is a man who you can count on, and I will always lend him support. I wish him many more years of success. So Dave, how does all that make you feel?
That's pretty humbling. I hear things from people from time to time, but to get people's honest feedback that way does make me feel great about what I'm doing, and that it validates the kind of person that I am. I really do love to give back, and I hope that anything that I do for them will help their lives in some way. But I just do it because I just feel like I really want to help people through the power of owning my own business in any way possible. So
that's beautiful. Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's the magic. It's this great big happy circle. It seems that giving your time and your talents and your treasures is this pathway for discovering your purpose. And giving from living in your purpose brings profound joy to your life, but also to the lives of those around you. Giving leads to purpose, and giving from purpose leads to joy. So to more properly reflect the exponential power of the happy formula, Dave, I'm going to tweak it just a little bit more. Capacity times purpose times giving equals happy to the third power, and that's really, truly, deeply happy. Does that sound about right to you?
I'd say so.
Very good. All right, let's wrap things up with the lightning round. I love the power of words and the capacity for great quotes to change lives. So I'm going to read a few of my favorites, and then you tell us what they mean to you. And Dave, give us the first thing that comes to mind, because it's called a lightning round.
Okay.
You ready?
Sure.
From my research, author unknown. Beer has food value, but food has no beer value.
I love comedy. Humor's good. Humor's good for the soul. I like that one. That's Dave Barry.
Another one from Dave Barry. Without question, the greatest invention in the history of mankind is beer. Oh, I grant you the wheel was also a fine invention, but the wheel does not go nearly as well with pizza.
That would be awesome too. That guy is funny. I love listening to him growing up.
All right, a couple more serious ones. From Richard Branson, tell us what this means to you. If someone offers you an amazing opportunity, but you're not sure you can do it, say yes, then learn how to do it later.
Sure, why not? Because you never know what to expect, and it might be something rewarding. Yeah, I definitely would be that guy. I'm a go-getter, so I would just do it anyway.
This is one of my own. Overcoming fear requires courage to venture into the land of unknown outcomes. Deciding to act despite uncertainty is how one's life becomes a daring adventure.
I would believe that. It also takes a lot of courage to start a business, and you don't know where it's going to go. In addition, on the other side of the coin, when you don't know what to expect, when you see something in a place you might be sitting that you want to interject and stop, maybe it's abuse or some kind of something, you have to do the right thing. No one wants to see somebody berate another and no one does anything about it. Instead, they just let the camera comes out. So, got to do the right thing.
Very good.
Stand up.
Stand up. From Bruce Lee, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, add what is uniquely your own.
I think a lot of us are guilty of that. We have so much clutter. We just got to get rid of some of that. And that's a great quote. Because a lot of it is just stuff. We don't need stuff.
Yeah.
Keep what's important.
Very good. This is the show anchor from Goth. Whatever you can do or dream you can do, begin it. Boldness has genius, power, and magic in it. Begin it now.
I like that quote. Yeah, I lost my train of thought on that one. Sorry.
That's not a problem. Okay, so his is all about don't delay, get on with it. So, and it's like when you had the idea as to start to buy the Irish pub, there was a lot of, you could have talked yourself out of it, I'm sure. But what Goth is saying, no, you dreamed it, begin it. And once you begin it, all this stuff happens to help you along the way.
Yeah, I would agree with that. You don't really know what's coming until you dive right in. And if you believe that, you feel like what you're doing is the path to go to, just commit to it and do it. Don't have, what they say, half-ass it. Go all in.
Go all in. Jump in the deep end. That's right. Great. That's great. Okay, folks. Now it's your turn to be a giver too. If you can hear my voice and you were inspired by today's show with Dave Goodell, please share some love with our delightful broadcast team by giving what you can to WITV7. They're a 501c3 charity on a mission to educate, empower, and encourage. They do good works with your kindness. Dave, I love and I share your commitment to always honor the brave men and women of our military, police, fire departments, and first responders. And I admire your mission at Debellation Brewing Company to leave its mark on the world with your master crafted beers and loving hospitality. And I'm super happy that you've shared your patriotic entrepreneurial zeal on our show today. Will you take a minute or two and share any parting remarks you'd like to leave with our audience?
Sure. Thanks for having me on the show, first of all, but definitely encourage people to stop by and try a beer and connect with me. Bring a patch to put on our wall. We have lots of fire department, police, and military patches and coins up there. So we love to support them in any way possible. And you'll see when you get there. And then if you find me there brewing or somewhere, try to flag me down. I love to talk to you and meet you.
Very good. Wonderful, Dave. Thank you so much. And I also want to thank WITV7 for hosting and promoting our show so we can keep interviewing inspiring guest stars like Dave and reaching folks just like you, ready to create your own extraordinary lives. And most especially, thank you, viewers and listeners. You'll find links to websites and social media and all things Dave Goodell. Find him, friend him, check out his story and his beers and his tributes to fallen friends. It's all available at debellationbrewing.com. That's DEBELLATION ATION, Brewing, BREWING.com. All one word, DebellationBrewing.com. And from me to you, dear friends, I love you and I want you to be really, truly, deeply happy too. So go to happyliving.com and take our happy quiz. Because when you measure your happy, you'll focus attention on it. And focusing attention on it inspires change and learning and improvement, all to flow right into your life. And once you take the quiz, and it only takes a minute, then I hope you'll give some thought about what you and I can do together right now to improve the happy of your world, one person at a time. Till next time, I'm Matt Gersper. You are awesome. And this is the Something Significant Show. And we're out.